Paul, who's quoting Genesis, he says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother, hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one. And that's the mystery, that's the miraculous thing about marriage that maybe the world doesn't understand. That this is not just a piece of paper or a legal agreement, but this is you coming together before God and the two lives melding into one, soulically, physically, wonderfully, in every way. There's the oneness. And that's kind of the heart and nature of what God's intention for marriage is, that companionship. In fact, there's two words in the book of Malachi that God uses to describe marriage: companionship, which maybe loses a little in our language because it means a oneness. The deepest, most wonderful oneness possible on earth. But he also uses the word covenant. And so it's this wonderful oneness wrapped in the safety and the seriousness of a covenant. Standing before God, standing before your friends, standing before your witnesses, saying, I am vowing myself to this person. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's always important at a ceremony to mention how serious this moment is. And I know you've considered that. Mm-hmm. And then, I love the verse that says, a threefold cord is not easily broken. Mm-hmm. And Jesus has to be that center cord of your life. Because you take two cords, you pull them, you can break that. But if you wrap those two cords around the center cord, it becomes stronger as the tension is applied. As you guys already know, in life, there's a lot of tension. Mm-hmm. And so I just encourage you publicly, wrap your lives around, yes, one another, but around Christ as the center. When life pulls, it'll just make you stronger. Well, marriage is also not only a miraculous thing, it's a bit of a mysterious thing. What I mean by that is not only in its nature, but also in how it works. How does marriage work? How do you make a marriage work? And you guys have done that in the past. But as I get to charge you publicly again, I would just remind you of what the Apostle Paul said in Ephesians 5. There's about 4 things he says. First of all, be filled with the Spirit. Be filled with the Spirit. Guys, you know this, but this is the most important part of the practical walking out of your marriage. You have to love Jesus more than you love each other. Mm-hmm. That you have to have that relationship individually as number one. And then as you are each pursuing Christ, you will be drawn close together. Mm-hmm. Secondly, he says in that passage that there's to be mutual submission. Submit one to another as unto the Lord, it says, before he gets into the details. And that's just how Christianity works. We defer to one another's needs and wants as a team. And then he does say, wives, submit to your husbands as unto the Lord. Operative phrase, as unto the Lord, Gail. Mm-hmm. It's more about you obeying Jesus than it is obeying him. Mm-hmm. But as you do that, you're honoring Christ. Mm-hmm. Much that could be said there, but then he says, maybe the harder thing to the man, he says, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. And we could go on and on how Christ loved us unconditionally, sacrificially. And that's your call. That's your charge. Mm-hmm. To lay down your life for Gail. Mm-hmm. Just to say not what I want, but what does she want. And so you put all that together. You love Jesus first. You submit ultimately to one another as a team, but then you submit ultimately to your husband as the head of the house. And you love and serve your wife as Christ loved the church. Mm-hmm. And that is the biblical model of how to make a marriage work, as you know. Mm-hmm. As you know. One last little thing that I love to point out, though, in this mystery of marriage, and that is that Paul points out this mystery is profound, and I'm saying it refers to Christ and the church. God picked the most intimate, wonderful, close, earthly relationship possible to say that's kind of like my relationship with you. Mm. And just like he will never leave us and forsake us, we're not to leave one another. As we're supposed to lovingly submit to him as our bridegroom, lovingly submit to him. So really your marriage becomes a picture and a type of Christ's love for us as he's the bridegroom and we as his believers are the bride. Beautiful, beautiful marriage. Amen. Well, now that my introduction is done, no, I'm just kidding. That's it. That's all I got. That's it. I promise I had these guys. I wouldn't got 3 points. Yeah, 3 points. I'm in them. At this point, though, we do want to. I didn't ask you earlier. Do you have rings to exchange?
We do.
Okay, good. At this point, you know, we're gonna take our vow. You're gonna take your vows
All right.
before one another, and we'll start with you, Mike.
Okay.
Repeat after me
Okay.
to Gail. I, Mike, take you, Gail,
I, Mike, take you, Gail,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold
to have and to hold
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness or in health,
in sickness or in health,
to love and to cherish
to love and cherish
until death separates us.
until death separates us.
According to God's holy ordinance,
According to God's holy ordinance,
I pledge to you
I pledge to you
my faithfulness.
my faithfulness.
Mike, do you have a ring for?
I do.
As you take the ring, as you place this on her finger,
May take a while.
you can repeat after me. With this ring,
With this ring,
I take you to be my wife.
I take you to be my wife.
As best you can.
It's on.
You've got it.
You have the size of
We've
the
tried
ring.
it before. It works.
There it goes.
There it is.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Not yet, not yet. Hold on. You get there quick, man. I know you do. We'll just speed through this next part. If you repeat after me to Mike. I, Gail,
Hi, Gail.
take you, Mike, to be my husband.
Take you, Mike, to be my husband.
Yeah.
To have and to hold
Not Jason.
To have and to hold
from this day
from
forward.
this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for
For
poorer.
richer, for poor.
In sickness or in health.
In sickness or in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Until death separates us.
Until death separates us.
According to God's holy ordinance,
According to God's holy ordinance,
I pledge to you
I pledge to you
my faithfulness. And I'll take your ring. As you put this on Mike's finger, please repeat after me. With this ring,
with this ring,
I take you to be my husband.
I take you to be my husband.
By the authority given to me by the state of Oregon, but also the Lord, more importantly, I get to pronounce you husband and wife. And there was a few more points I wanted to make. No, I'm just kidding. At this point, you may kiss your bride. If you guys would do me a favor and just turn and look at your friends and family, this is one of my favorite parts of the ceremony. I want to be the first to publicly introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Mike Duncombe. Celebrate. So there's a reception next door.